8, students learn everything they need to be successful. Problem-solving and critical thinking skills develop as they are used. In a Sudbury school, they're used every day, but not in a contrived way. They're used in a real way. And to me, that's a basic distinction. Leaders evolve naturally in their areas of interest or expertise. I've seen situations where one child will be a leader in doing this because they're interested, and the next day he's a total follower in this situation. And you know, that's healthy. In community, we're all gifted in different ways. And there are times that this one, you know, has more to offer, and I'm like, oh boy, that's great. I didn't know, you know, and there are other times that someone over here has something more to offer. So I really like that in community like that all children get to show their giftedness, and that one type doesn't matter over another type. And kids who growing up appreciating that and valuing that in each other create a very different world as adults than adults who were told these 3 are the top of the class, the rest of us are all, I'll tell you what the kids believe, losers. That's what they come to believe, because the hierarchical system that grades children on 2 types of intelligence, when we know there are probably hundreds, creates these 2 or 3 as the top of the class, and all the rest are, I'm using the kids' word, losers. What does that do to a society? Forget about their personal self-esteem. Nine, democracy means freedom with responsibility. Not coercion, not mandates, not autocracy. And democracy is best learned and valued by living it. Kids, you know, I think we have the greatest country in the world. Nobody has a democracy like this. But I deeply believe that we will lose it through the way we educate our children. I really do. I think a Martian visiting here and knows nothing about all of this, who's told what democracy is, and then goes into a school and sees how we raise our children. This is democracy. This is how we school kids. I don't know about you, but I was never taught to question any of this when I was young. It took me a long time. Research indicates that graduates of Sudbury School are successful in myriad professional, entrepreneurial, business, and artistic endeavors, but maybe even more importantly, they are happy, well-adjusted adults. Graduates of Sudbury Valley, because that's the major body of research with Sudbury Education, because they've been operating for 40 years. They are doctors, dentists, lawyers, architects, psychologists, undertakers, all kinds of entertainment professionals, artists, business people, a lot of them are entrepreneurs, which isn't surprising at all, in various fields. They run the gamut of careers. But the one thing that all of the research has found is that they are happy, contented people. And that, as a mom, an educator, a psychotherapist, a human being, says so much to me. Because happy people create happy communities and happy worlds. And I don't know about you, but I don't know many kids who jump out of bed in the morning to go to school. I don't know any teenagers who jump out of bed in the morning and can't wait to go to school, except for kids who go to Sudbury schools. That's my personal experience. I'm going to close with one of my favorite poems, and if you'd like a copy of it, I'll get it for you. Wayne Dyer has quoted the same poem, and I think it speaks to the wisdom behind Sudbury Education. It's called Woman with Flower, and it's by Naomi Long Magic. I wouldn't coax the plant if I were you. Such watchful nurturing may do it harm. Let the soil rest from so much digging and wait until it's dry before you water it. The leaf's inclined to find its own direction. Give it a chance to seek the sunlight for itself. Much growth is stunted by too careful prodding, too much eagerness. The things we love, the children we love, we have to learn to leave alone. We don't know better most of the time. They do. I love kids, and I wish I could give every child in America a Sudbury education. Unfortunately, we're not at that point yet, but we will try to give it to as many as possible for the time being here in the Jersey Shore area. I'd be happy to take questions. Yes?
I'm going to, excuse me, I'm getting purple. Labels.
Yes.
My son, at age 3, was labeled with basic developmental delay. I, at that point, and to this day, agree with his diagnosis. He's, borderline spectrum, another label. And this was a kid who made no eye contact, related very little, with the exception of watching, wheels roll back and forth on the train track. And he's gone through what's considered a very good special education system. He's supposedly the best specialist one in the state public school. And I mean, what I've seen them bring out in him, it's just incredible. I mean, they have said that they don't even know whether he'd still have a label, but that why question it, because he would get more services this way. And I mean, I couldn't be more grateful for the services he's had. And what I've read about autism, a lot of it talks about two different sides of the brain and how they tend to be sort of one-sided when they look physically at the brains of spectrum kids. The white, there's just not connections from one side to the other. And I can tell you that without somebody who knows about his diagnosis, taking him and saying, you know what, don't watch the wheels roll back and forth. How about trying to play with this kid? Or here are some imaginary ideas I'm trying to foster to say that other side of the brain. In the classic school system, he's probably going to do fine. Cognitively, he's right there. It's in the other areas that he does struggle. He doesn't realize he's struggling, but and I get, and anytime when there's a lot of behavioral, he's a happy kid, but whenever there's behavioral stuff or, I just don't know what to do anymore because he's throwing tantrums, all they say to me is structure, 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 have your routine, and it really, really works. And I'm not talking about cracking the whip. I'm talking about, like, after we do this, and we set a timer, and it just gives him a reference. And as a very unstructured person myself, I can tell you I could have done a little more with a little more of it throughout my life.